So on the table here, I have 5 smartphones that I think currently right now in 2023 might be the best value for money phones of the year, spanning across multiple budgets, offering more than you would expect. And there's also a bonus phone at the end that I think might offer a brilliant alternative to the flagship greats from Samsung and Apple. So I don't necessarily mean that these are the flat out cheapest phones that you can buy, like the TikTok viral Infinix Smart 6, because yes, it is £65, but it's certainly not a premium iPhone or Samsung phone that it is so heavily suggested by TikTok creators trying to earn a quick commission buck. But more, they offer brilliant value for money, either top specs at mid-range prices or mid-range specs at budget prices. You get the idea. So first up is the Xiaomi 13, and not the 13 Pro. Whenever a new phone series launches, often the Pro or Ultra models get all of the attention for all those bells and whistles features, and the standard models often get overlooked. And I think that's a bit of a shame, because they often offer a lot of those top great specs, but you can get them for usually £200-300, dollars, euros, rupees cheaper. Although if you are paying in rupees, then you're going to be getting a lot more off for your phone. And the Xiaomi 13 is a classic example of all of what I've just said. Same Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, 120Hz AMOLED display and stereo speakers. There is a slightly smaller battery here and potentially slightly slower charging speeds, and a slightly less powerful camera if we're talking sheer megapixels. But it still has a 50 megapixel main sensor, still has an ultra wide, still has a telephoto lens with optical zoom, and you have a flat display over the curve, which some would argue is actually a benefit. And to top it all off, the last time I checked, it was £250 cheaper than the Pro, $850, $1,100. Cracking phone, criminally underrated. One of my favourite phones of 2023 so far. Before we hit on some more premium flagship killers, let's roll it back. Let's roll that budget down. We are going with a sub-brand of Xiaomi, Poco, and the X5 Pro. This retails for £369 on Xiaomi's website and offers a 120Hz AMOLED display, a 5000 mAh battery, and a 108 megapixel triple camera with main, ultra wide, and macro. There is no telephoto lens, unfortunately, so any zoom you do get is digital, so perhaps not quite as sharp as some of the other phones that have optical zoom. That is just one of the prices you pay, literally, for having a cheaper phone. It is a really compelling phone, but I would actually also argue that for £10 cheaper on the Xiaomi website, last year's Poco F4 standard model with the Snapdragon 870 chip inside will actually give you a more powerful performance and a better experience. That does have a smaller battery, though, than this. So, tomato. Not sure what that was. You also have a headphone jack. Next up, we're going niche. We are going flip, baby. And this here Oppo Find N2 Flip is not a cheap phone, but the value here lies in being £150 cheaper and possibly offering more in certain situations than the Samsung Z Flip 4. The Oppo Find N2 Flip has been hugely well received across the globe, and while personally I'm still more of an N2 Fold fan, I prefer the form factor, but alas, Oppo don't seem to be providing that to the global market, and that makes me flippin' crazy. But this phone is still a brilliant option if you're looking for this flip form factor. But why might it be better than the offering from Samsung? Well, for a start, it folds completely flat, so there is no gap around the hinge, like there is on the Flip 4. The Oppo flipping phone is also wider when folded out, so things don't feel quite as cramped, and the outer display is noticeably larger, so quite simply you can do more things. Now, the Samsung Flip 4 will give you slightly higher numbers in terms of raw benchmarks with its Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 compared to the Dimensity 9000 plus in here, even if you probably won't notice the difference in everyday use, just in very niche circumstances. The charging speeds and battery capacity is better on the N2 Flip, with software being a possible win again for Samsung. This will be subjective, but I just feel that the ecosystem as a whole that Samsung has created and the way things work within One UI just makes it slightly superior, as you could say also with the camera. Main lens shots are much of a muchness, but the ultra-wide and night images in many people's testings have come out slightly better on the Flip 4. Although again, you do have a larger front display for easier framing for selfies using that rear camera on the Oppo. So both are great devices, both have their pros and cons, but again, for £150 cheaper, it might be a bit of a no-brainer. Right, next one, we have a really great phone for its €399 price tag. The Redmi Note 12 Pro. Again, not the Pro Plus, because I don't think for an extra €100, there's enough difference between the two. I would say save your money. A higher megapixel, it's that word again, megapixel, can't say it. So a higher megapixel main sensor and faster charging slightly are the only two real differences between the two phones. So is that worth €100? You tell me. Outside of that, they both offer a solid camera array, have a 5000 mAh battery, up to 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage, stereo speakers, headphone jack, 120Hz AMOLED display, and a MediaTek Dimensity 1080 chipset. Now, this is clearly where Redmi have managed to bring some of that cost back in, because the MediaTek Dimensity 1080 isn't the most expensive chip to include. That's mainly because it's not a top-tier elite piece of chip hardware. That's not to say the performance is necessarily poor, though, by any means, offering benchmarks that are very similar to the Qualcomm Snapdragon 778G Plus in the Nothing Phone 1, which isn't... Stay there. As if by magic. Ta-da! Oh, goes next to my Nothing earbuds. You also have Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.2, and a cheeky IR blaster on the end. And before we hit that cheeky curveball bonus smartphone, we have another true flagship killer, the OnePlus 11. In terms of price, we are hitting upper mid-range, £729 to be precise. And with that, you get a very solid classic OnePlus device. Great flagship build quality with unique features such as the famous alert slider, one of the best displays on the planet, 120Hz Quad HD Plus AMOLED, and a 5000 mAh battery, 100 watt fast charging. You also have the latest Android 13 software, which is... What was I going to say? 4 years worth of updates and 5 years of security updates was what I was going to say before my brain farted. Which, if my maths serves me correctly, that takes you up to Android 17. Tidy. You also have decent stereo speakers and a very solid camera, if not industry leading. Superb phone for the money. So the bonus phone on this list, and one that offers a brilliant alternative to the likes of the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra and the iPhone 14 Pro Max, is the Honor Magic 5 Pro. And when it comes to the global market in the next month or so, I think it's going to do very well indeed. Super premium build with a stylish frosted back, sleek and clean metal frame, and a beautiful 120Hz curved OLED display, with a whopping 1800 nits peak brightness, brighter than the S23 Ultra. You also have the latest Android 13 software with access to the Google Play Store for all of your apps, and the super powerful Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip inside. The front camera pill cutout does feel a little dated now. They're still using some of the old Huawei design language from when they were a sub-brand, even though now they are a completely separate company. But the benefits of this is the build quality, as a lot of Huawei and Honor phones were in the past, is excellent. Really is top tier. And the battery and camera are also elite. Now, I'm still embargoed on a full review on this bad boy, even though the phone was launched a couple of months ago almost now. Don't get me started on embargoes, but a 5100 mAh battery and a 50 megapixel triple camera, main, ultra wide and periscope telephoto mean that the Honor Magic 5 Pro definitely needs to be up there in the conversation. What do you think? Which would you pick out of these? Or is there another phone out there that offers better value for money than the ones that I have here? Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want to see more. And also follow me on my other social medias, ASB Official on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter as well, for more short form video, images, and conversation. Bit of banter on Twits. Banter on Twits? Oh no. That's a new low for me, I think. Banter on the Twits. I'm going to start saying the Facebooks soon. My name's Adam. You've been the best as always. I love you and leave you. I'll see you in the next one. ASBYT. Peace out.